Welcome. We're back with another session of NX Office Hours where we answer your questions about NX Dev Tools. Um, we talk about all things NX and the community, and we do this every 2 weeks at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to check out our page. I'm sure we'll get more plugs in there once we get to the plug part of the show. I'm Brandon T. Roberts on Twitter, and I have my co-host Isaac, who's I guess you're regular at this point. But
yeah, this is my second time, so it makes me regular. This is great.
Yep. And we also have a special guest today. Jorge, go ahead and introduce yourself for the people who may not know who you are.
Okay, thanks for the special guest. I love that. My name is Jorge. I'm from Argentina. I'm working in a company called Hero Devs, and we create and maintain Scully. So I'm one of the Scully core team. I'm Google developer experts and work in the community for the last 7 years or something like that. So thanks for the invite. And happy to discuss about the next Scully or where else. I love that.
Yeah, like I said, we want to get you all on for a while here to talk about Scully because there's some history there with Scully and NX, and so I wanted to get you on to talk about the project. Just before we get started, if you have any questions while we're going through office hours, this was probably going to be more focused on Scully today, but we'll try to answer some of the other questions if we have time. But if you have those, feel free to comment in the chat, and we'll get to them. But yeah, I'll go ahead and bring up the page here. What is Scully for the people who may not have tried it yet? I've tried it, I liked it, but they may not know what it is. So what's the elevator pitch for Scully?
So it's Scully. The speech is there. Scully makes building, testing, and deploying Jamstack app extremely simple. So the real thing is Scully take your Angular app, really your distribution of your Angular app, and create the static site generator of that. So we work after Angular work. We are the static site generator for Angular, like Gatsby for React, or I think it's Nuxt for Vue. I'm not sure for Vue really, but we take all the things from Jamstack and build a tool for that. So the thing from Scully is create an static site from your Angular app.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and from that you said it easily buildable and deployable for the Jamstack. The Jamstack isn't new though, right? It's something that's been around for a while. We're just kind of bringing that functionality to Angular.
Yeah. So the thing is, we talk about easy because we don't touch anything in the app. If you have an Angular app now with NGRX, with Angular material, we don't care really what you have in the app. If you can build the app, we can build the static site generator. So that is the easy thing. We don't need a special config or things like that, really. So that is for the easy. And the Jamstack basically, or the thing of the Jamstack, it's JavaScript, API, Markdown, and Markdown. So the thing is of the Jamstack is like static page with a little JavaScript. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for better SEO, for getting better scores in Lighthouse and things like that.
What you used this term a couple times. What do you mean by static page, and how is that different from? I guess dynamic would be the opposite of static. What are those two terms?
Imagine you are working in your app. No, you have the next page. You go to nx.dev and you get maybe an Angular app or an React app, Vue app, what else? That is dynamic page. No, So we know that it's SPA, SPA, where else it's like, hey, all the content is dynamic, all take when I need something, I will take there. I can just ping to the create a HTTP GET or where else, and I can get data. Yeah. But in the 90% of the case of the nx.dev, maybe you don't need get the data every now and then, because normally the data come from the code, or the docs come from Markdown or things like that. No, so the thing of the static page is just HTML and CSS.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if you can run something in your NX web app and remove all the JavaScript, remove Angular, remove all the things you don't need really for show the documentation. So that's the thing for the static page. Or if you have a blog, normally the blog, you don't need anything from JavaScript. Maybe Google Analytics or things like that. But if you write your app in Angular or React, the 90% of the JavaScript code you don't need after build. So the thing for the static site generator is remove all the things you don't need. For be faster, simples, don't have a big bundle size for things like a blog, or get a really good first paint.
Mm-hmm.
So if I understand this right, that means that when you when a user goes to a site that's been statically generated, it will download just HTML, and when it first loads the screen, it'll show all the content immediately, and not have to run JavaScript to show you the paragraphs of your documentation. But it sounded like with like something like Google Analytics, it is still possible with Scully to have some JavaScript, and so some things that get compiled into the static HTML, and then also some things that are still left in JavaScript land, like Google Analytics and things.
I will give you two examples. The first one is the Scully page. If you go to scully.io, we don't have any JavaScript. The page is made with Angular. We build with ng build, and after that we run Scully. We have some plugins for remove all the JavaScript things. So we remove Angular directly. So we build with Angular, but after remove Angular because we don't need. But we add analytics and one crash report. I don't remember. So we add the script for analytic, and we add the other script. I think it's LogRocket. Yeah, LogRocket. So we add two scripts with JavaScript, but after render all. So if you go to the page render really fast because it's just HTML and CSS.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, in async mode, we run analytics and LogRocket. So at the end, you can use this for a documentation site, for a blog, or for things like that. But normally, when you are working, the client don't tell you, say, hey, I need a blog only. No. So the other option or the other thing is, an example, I'm working with a client, and the client is an e-commerce. So the e-commerce is impossible remove Angular because you need a cart, you need a lot of things, checkout, no?
Yeah.
So we made some plugins and things in Scully for run in the e-commerce. So imagine any e-commerce you know now, and the thing you need wait to load. Normally it's more than 5 to 10 seconds. Yep. So these people have something like 30 seconds for the initial paint for load the homepage. You know?
Yeah, that's no good.
Yes, but have a lot of queries, have a lot of things for get all the data. And the 99% of the times, this data, it's the same. You know, or with a product, no? When you have a product digital page, you have normally the same data. So Scully, in this case, run in the page we need or the client need and get this static content for that. So when you join to the page, you just enter to this e-commerce, you see in milliseconds, in 1 second, the first paint render. So you saw all the page. In the background, Angular is loading, and it's an hybrid app, so it's Angular and AngularJS loading.
Mhm.
And in some moments when Angular is ready, we just merge and disappear the static content and appear the Angular app. So you can have both for the two words, and get the good first paint, good SEO, good Lighthouse scores, all the good things from the static page, but after you can run your spa normally. So
Wow.
it's like that two words we are working in Scully.
That sounds really hard to do. Do you have some special tricks to do
For
it
the Flickr normally?
easily? Yeah.
Yes. We have.
How hard is it
plugins.
to set up Scully.io, like on my app?
So it's just run an schematic.
Okay.
That's all.
That's nice. That's good.
And we have a plugin for this flash prevention, this Flickr. We call flash prevention. If you work one time with Universal, with Angular Universal, one of the big problems of Angular Universal is when change from the render to the spa have a flicker. Sometimes it was milliseconds and you never saw that. But if the app is like
if you got a lot of
not
stuff
with
going on,
if you have a big weight, you have a flicker. So imagine the people writing in an input, a user, the flicker gone. So after the flicker, disappear all the things. So we create the flash prevention for that. So we move the static data to the Angular data, and the user never saw this change. And it's a plugin. You add the plugin in the config, and that's all.
Okay.
So basically, install Scully is just run one command. And in the next R2, but was easy, really.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I'd like to see some code.
Yes, obviously. I can wait. I will share my screen.
Yeah, you just mentioned it was like 2 steps, so now you got to give us a
yeah. I promise.
a 2-step demo of
So
how you use it. So if you're ready, I can add your screen here.
I will create an app with the next.
Okay, we're going all in here. Scully.
Yeah, we know this. NPX create the next workspace. This was easy. Yeah, this is from an X, so it's not part of Scully.
Right. So if something goes wrong here, this is our fault.
Yeah, it's not my fault in this case. No, but I'm testing the demo, testing. I have one place for test. Normally I use the same name for all. But okay, workspace name, we will put NX Office Hour.
But what about testing?
Okay, testing. Okay, so we have 2 options here, the MP project or the Angular. So if you use the Angular workspace, the good thing is Scully read the Angular JSON. So the unique NX workspace have the Angular JSON, it's the Angular workspace. Yeah. In example, we use MP an MP workspace in Scully itself. So we understand we need to read the workspace JSON, not the Angular JSON. But I will start with the Angular workspace. Application name, testing NX, office hour, CSS. Now in this case. So one thing for running Scully is you need have a router. Yeah, Scully read the router for render the page. So we have the testing workspace now.
Thanks, Isaac. No.
You're welcome. This is my contribution for the hour.
Yeah.
How many testings can we squeeze into 1 hour?
Yeah, we can get a lot.
So you're saying you have to you saying the router is required, so that's something you have to set up after you generate the app.
So we take. So the thing is that when we run Scully, or when you run Scully in your app, Scully read the Angular JSON, the routing, and create all the routes possible you can get. Yeah. So if you have a blog, this will read all the markdown you have in one folder for the blogs. If you have a plugin for read JSON, so we have a plugin for read JSON. So if you have some endpoints for show routes, like I don't know, /people/id1/people/id2 and things like that, we need to create all the things, all the match URLs we can get for that. So basically, Scully create one folder and index HTML for each route you have. So for that, we need the routing. It's mandatory.
Okay.
Because we need to read the routes for create. If you have one page, it's strange. Normally, you don't have one page in an Angular app. So for that. So okay, I will show into testing. Good. So now we don't have any app. Oh yes, we have an app. Yeah, because create that. So first command, npm add, because it's an Angular workspace, Scully.io/init.
And this is just a collection of like schematics for using Scully within your workspace?
Yes, we create some schematics for install other things. So basically, Scully with the init, read the folders, read the Angular JSON or the workspace JSON, install some things we add the polyfill because we need to know when the page is ready. It's like we read all the page, we serve all the page from your Angular distribution, and after read all the page and create the HTMLs. So we just add a polyfill for that, and we create a little plugin, or it's a library really for the Angular app. So that is all you need for run Scully. Yeah. So I will just open code. I don't use a lot of code, so okay. So package JSON we add. It's with plus, no? Yes. So we add Scully. It's the Scully runtime, it's the CLI, and we add Scully serve. So Scully serve basically are two express servers, one with your Angular distribution and the other with the Scully build. So you can watch the difference. You can just say disable JavaScript and check if your page is there and all the things. And okay, the Scully init is the schematics, and nglib is the library for Angular, and Scully itself. So now we have Scully working. I will next build. I will build Scully init the build for work. So I will
using those NX commands too for.
I will show you something in my. I'm use WebStorm really, and this is not the site. It's this one. We have in the package JSON. We have some NX commands. So normally I'm just run npm test in example, and this run all the next commands. Okay, so I have my Angular app now. I can run Scully. If I run npm run Scully, this will get the config. I will show the config in some seconds, but this will check your distribution from Angular. Yeah, copy the distribution, start a server with this Angular distribution. I will put no for now. We use guest parser. One of the Minko create the guest parser. So with guest, we check all the routes. We traversing all the app routes. and create a little JSON for check the routes we can get. Yeah. So this was easy because we only have one route. And this is the config for Scully. Yeah. So this is building. Yeah. One thing. It's not an error list. It's a no problem with Windows when you cross subprocess. So, but check this. We render only the home, the root, because it's the unique app we have. This take a lot for the first time, but normally Scully generate like 1,000 page in 1 minute, something like that.
So that's after the first run,
Yeah.
it's faster? Okay. So if you were to run this command again, do it.
Yeah, because the first one, guess, is checking all the routes and all the things. So this time is really more faster. It's faster, really, not more faster, but it's faster for that. Okay. Supposedly. Maybe not now. You know, when you are showing something, it's like, yes. Okay, yep. Okay, like this is fast.
And I'm doing
not
all
now.
The things, but really, I promise, it's faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it is.
That was faster.
It's a lot for me normally, but yes. So we test in Scully. We have some test for check if all okay and all. The test normally, and we spend a lot of page in seconds, really. But okay, so the thing is that this is the Scully config. Say the project root, so you can change to other, but we support monorepos, and we really love the monorepo for Linux. So we support all the type of monorepos. So this is the name of the project because we read the package JSON, the Angular JSON or the workspace JSON. So we need to know this config is for this project. And we build all here. So the ODIR for Scully, it's in this static. Normally, you can change if you like. So if I'm going here, you will say I have the 404 page and the index.html. And if you check, the index have the body, and all the tags we have. So it is Scully generate, all the things.
Testing.
Yeah, testing. It's a lot. So if I run npm run Scully serve, we will serve both applications. One is the Scully static server, and the other is the Angular distribution. So this is the one, no, it's empty, and the other, it's empty too, because we don't have nothing.
All right. Woo!
Bad work.
Oh.
So I will add something in the app. Okay, this have content. Why the Angular app? Wait.
So this is the real value of
yeah, it's strange because
the Angular app, you get to watch Jorge live debug, which is
that is
really exciting.
Thing. Because I tested this like 1 hour ago and all work. Yeah, but my Angular app is empty. I don't know, have content, but it's empty.
I see.
We don't have route for that. Okay.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, you just finished saying we need to have the router.
Yes, but the router, it's not there.
Probably not in the app module.
App module.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have a router.
Yeah.
Good.
I was trying to see if you were gonna if the Scully schematic, like the ng add, if that was going to add the router if it wasn't there, because I know that the NX workspace
true. Yeah, I missed that. Okay, we can create the testing if you like.
No more testing.
No, stop. Too much.
Let's just
go back.
Routes.
It's called taking a joke too far.
So I will add the test. Route.
Yeah.
Route. I never, one thing, when something you write only one time for each normal apps you have, like the road, and thanks to the Angular CLI, I never brought in my life this.
Okay.
I never
You wanna-
remember the
I can
things,
help-
you know?
I can help you.
It's
You want a path instead of a
yeah,
route. You want a path for empty quotes
yeah. So path,
and then a
no,
component.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this
There
is
you go.
magic. Path home, I use app component. Doll.
Well, you want a different component for that, right? You want to.
I will add only one for the home, and we will use another schematic for create another.
Okay.
So, const route, it's declared. Oh, yeah, we know. So we will import the router
module. Yep.
dot root. Okay.
It is nice that the CLI does this for you because I've typed this out many a time and
Yeah, I never, I think it's normally I take something and say, okay.
just use
I never
that.
remember that.
Yep.
So we have, in example, this is my sample. This is the Scully docs. So I will take from here my beautiful routing model. It's all beautiful. For roads, it's roads. It's not road. Done.
Yeah.
Roads. It's not my fault. The fault is the Angular CLI built all easy for us. You know, that's the problem. Yeah. So now we have a route, yeah, and have a road. So now I think in excerpt we will show.
That should at least get us a minimum where at least the app starts up. You're still gonna need a router outlet, but
done.
Yeah, it actually says something.
Yeah.
Good. So now in Xbuild we have only one project, so it's easy. One thing of kill me the first day using NX was first the project after the action.
Yeah.
Every now and then I put in the prompt, it's first build and after testing. The good thing is work, but show you the good format. So now we have npm run Scully. So I'm really sure this time will work. This take 3 seconds. Now don't take 30 because take 30 it's trying to get the roads and all. So now take 3 seconds because we have a real road. npm run Scully serve and Angular distribution first. Work.
All
Good.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
And the Scully work. So I will get the network. Yeah, performance. So this is the thing, load fast and easy. So this take 5 milliseconds loading, scripting, rendering, painting, 1 millisecond. It's not bad. And with the Angular thing, take like the same. We don't have a really change.
Pretty close.
Yeah. So the difference is I will just disable JavaScript in this case and run. Now it's a little better. And we don't take this in the Angular version because if you disable JavaScript, you're out.
Nothing alone. Right.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a whole lot.
Yeah, it's like, okay, thank you. Done. You don't have nothing. So in a page really simple like this, you don't have really a big difference. Disable JavaScript. Okay, I will enable here. JavaScript, enable JavaScript. Yep. But the real thing is we can remove JavaScript from here. So we can live from a lot of network issues. And in example, if I reload, so if I input slow 3G, this will take a little more, but it's faster. In 2 seconds, 4 seconds finish all. So if I'm here, use slow 3G.
Disable the cache so you can get a real comparison.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Disable cache. We will rerun. So we are taking like, whoop. Okay, 8, 9, some seconds more. So this finish in 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And that one finish in 16. Okay, yeah. 20, yeah, a little more. Yeah. So that is one of the good things or use just a static site generator. So this was the easy thing. If I write ng generate Scully.io/blog init blog, we'll create a blog in just seconds. If all goes good, yeah. So we create a module with a component. We create a route for that, update the config, and we update the app module.
How does it know which app to put the blog in?
In this case, we have only one app. Yeah. So if you check in the Scully, we have only the testing NX office hour. Okay. So if you like put in another and it's not your default app in the Angular JSON or workspace JSON, you can run the same, but with -- project.
Okay.
Equals the name of the project.
Okay. So you can have more than one Scully enabled app in an NX workspace?
Yes. In example, the Scully repo have two. So we have one for sample blog and the other for Scully docs.
Okay, so they have two different config files.
Yes, okay. You can have 11 or more. So it's like, yeah, I will not create 11 testing because we will not finish. But so I add a blog, yeah. I'm check here. Now we have a route here. And that is part when you need use the configuration for Scully. So we take this route for the Angular app, yeah, /blog/ and we take the slag. What is the slag? In this case, the type of this plugin, it's a content folder. So the content folder take Markdown, docs, and some others like Markdown files. I use Markdown, really. I never use the others. But take this type of plugin, take the content folder. So Scully create a blog folder for you and create a beautiful blog for you start blogging today. We use Yelm like dev2. So say this. The slag we will take, no? So we take this here and we'll say, hey, the folder for this is this one. If you use, we have, in example, a JSON plugin. So you can ping an endpoint and say, hey, all of these URLs come, or all of these IDs come from this URL and are the ID thing. I will show in some seconds. So the thing of that is you can create now in your blog folder, you can change that in the documentation, say you can use another folder and things like that. But now you have a blog working in your NX app. So you can write all your documents or blogs or URLs in Markdown and just put publishing true. In example, you can add Slack and say, hey, this is, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And this will change the Slack for you for use a real Slack. Yeah. So we can just test one and we can add Slacks in this example and use test 2, test 3. Yeah. So are different Slacks you can use for the SEO, really.
Are those are aliases, the slugs?
Yes. Okay, yes. Gotcha. So Scully will create all of these URLs for you. Okay. So I will build an X again. use an NX build because all the change you made in Angular need build in Angular because we use the distribution. But if you now only change your Markdown, you don't need any from the Angular build. I will rerun npm run Scully. So now take the new config and say, hey, you have more roads. Yeah. In this case, don't take, because I don't run the scan roads. I will run again.
So you only need to run scan routes when you add new routes and rebuild?
Yes. Right? Yes. Don't lag. Wait. It's not slacks. I'm not sure really. Okay, go. So guest parser run only when you need. If you don't add any new route, we don't add anything because it's take time. So check route block 1 test npm run Scully serve npm run Scully serve. It's with jewels and go to Scully. So the page is here, blog, and I put test 1.
How can I find it? Kind of...
So this is the Angular. I will show in Scully. Blog test 1 I put. Blog test 1. Yeah. Okay. I need check my Angular app. Supposedly I don't add something. I'm sure it's there.
Yeah, you probably need a router.
Blog.
Router outlet.
No, it's here. The Scully content and what I miss. I have my route.
You have the route set up, but the outlet's not in the app component, I don't think.
You are right, and for that doesn't work. Thank you, Angular CLI. It's router outlets.
I'll just throw this in here. Like I said, NX creates a new workspace for Angular apps without the router set up out of the box, but you can pass the -- interactive flag. I'll throw it up here while you're going through that. NX workspace -interactive. That command there, npx create NX workspace -interactive, and this will actually prompt you for the CLI commands also, but that's only
my fault.
So if you want to use routing there when you do initial setup, it'll do it for you.
Or you could run the NX, do it in NX console, and just see everything.
Yeah. So that is the blog. Yeah. It's a not really beautiful blog because I don't write. Hey, we are in the NX office hours. So I run this. Now I don't need to run the build. I'm just run the Scully and serve the app.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's say even if you did have to run the build there, it wouldn't. You should get the cached version, like the local caching, right?
Yes. Normally I don't build Angular if I don't need, but I'm use the watch mode for all.
Yeah.
But it's more for show the thing. So you can start to work in your Markdown and just change the Markdown. Scully, it's build. You have use the -- watch and it's build every now and then. So only for show, we have another examples. We support a lot of things, and all are from using. You can use in NX, but this in example user. Maybe I will just change the presentation mode. Okay, so this user ID, it's a JSON plain. So we get the data. We use an HTTP GET for that, and we use the URL. Take the handler for the result and say, hey, from the raw we take the ID. If the ID is less than 3, and the property is this user ID. It's the ID from the API. So you can play with that, and you can play with your app and all the things, and at the end, it's easy to use and work perfect with the NX. So it's a win-win.
Cool. So, like you mentioned, you didn't have to do anything special to get this working within an NX workspace.
No,
And you had
really. If
support
the
for
unique thing
like,
it's if you are in an Angular workspace, you can run ng-add directly.
mhm.
But if you
Right.
use I will show into Scully the app. So we have here just on, hey, if you're using an NX, I call vanilla workspace, that really is not a non-workspace without any specification. We just need run the npm install Scully.io in it and run the nx generate.
Mhm.
Nice. So I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Just recently, like in the last month, I think, NX came out with the ability to change the apps and libs folders, their names to something else. Is that going to mess up this Scully schematic if they're named something else?
Yeah, basically, if you change the name for us, it's the same, really.
Okay.
Well, if you say me, hey, so from NX we take two things. One is the Angular JSON, and the other is the workspace JSON. So if you have the Angular JSON and say, hey, is that project, we will take from here.
Okay. All right. Because
And it's the same from the workspace JSON. No, if you say, hey, now my app, the name is, I don't know, Pepe, we will take. You know?
Okay, so I'm talking about so the apps folder, like on line 7 there, that we can name that projects or something else if we wanted to. But you'll read it from this JSON file, so that should be just fine. Okay.
Yeah, because you changed the root. So if you say, hey, I'm using testing NX, but the root is now
something
blah.
else.
Yeah, we will take from here.
Great, perfect.
So yeah, it's not a problem really. So if we have the config, one of the good things we really love from put all of this in NX, it's the workspace JSON. It's really the format is the same of the Angular JSON for the config from Angular. So it was easy. It's, hey, if NX, check if you have an Angular JSON, and if not, check the workspace JSON. And the other is the same. So
yeah, there was a question here in the chat here. It says, and I think you just answered this one. Imagine a site with an Angular-made tic-tac-toe game and a WebSocket. How can it benefit from Scully? And I think you talked about that earlier, to where you can have the tic-tac-toe game like show up really quickly, and then have the Angular side of it load up when it's ready, so that you can, get into the gameplay, right?
Yeah, at the end, you will show faster your HTML, and in the background, Angular is loading and all. So if the tic-tac-toe app take a lot of time if take like 10 seconds, 5 seconds to load the first paint, you can use Scully for that. But at the end, after Scully, come Angular and say, hey, I'm here, and you can continue working normally.
Mm-hmm. And I think you answered this one also. Ramesh said, we have apps folder. How do I create a blog inside app component blog? And I think that's more has to do with your routing structure than like your app setup, right?
Yeah. So really, we have an schematic for blog, and the name is Markdown. It's the same, but one create the folder blog in your root. Yeah. So in the root, I have blog. And this is the place where we take the files, and each file will come in one or more routes. And was this Markdown blog, or it's Markdown. So you can use for a blog or for other things. We use in the documentation. All the Scully documentation are different Markdowns. So if you check in docs, we have docs. In example, we don't use blog, and have all the different Markdowns there. And we take that, and all of that are the page from the Scully app. So you can use where else, but at the end, Scully, the schematic from Scully, create one folder, in this case is blog, and one module and component. And all use the name you put. So it's a component, a module, and create the where is that, and create the road in your main road. So here in this case is in the app model. Add this. It's lazy, so you don't have any problem with that, and just say, hey, this is the road. We create the HTML for you and all, so you can add a header, a footer, what else you like, and the Scully content, it's from the ngLib, the Scully ngLib, and it's where we inject your Markdown.
I see. Okay, cool. So we got a few more minutes left, and you've kind of shown it already, but you showed how the Scully project itself is built with NX, and that was kind of something that happened just recently. You want to talk about like how that came about? Like why did you end up moving to NX, or how did you get from where you were to starting to use NX for building the Scully project itself?
Yeah, it was really funny because when we start, I was really, really fan from Basil.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. I was on the Basil train.
Yes. I'm traveled to New York from Argentina to New York. It was like 17, 18 hours traveling, in the flight, on all the things, traveling to New York for stay 2 days with the Basil team for the training and all the things. So I really love Basil. I love Basil when we start to say, hey, we will create this, but don't have the name Scully, but this thing, I say, okay, I will create the folder and I will create all for Basil. We will make this with Basil because we need a lot of different things and more. The problem if in the team, we start this with Aaron, with Frosty and Sander.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is I was the unique people, no Basil. And when we start really fast and we start to push to master on main now all. And the problem is, hey, Jorge, this doesn't build because I add something and Basil don't take care about that. Okay, I will create the config for that. Okay, I will create, and in one moment I say, okay, I will move this workspace because we create all the workspace from Basil to configs in npm. So we have like 50, 60 scripts in npm for build all the things. And every now and then, hey, Jorge, we need a script for build that. Hey, Jorge, we need, a CI. We need a CD. So, and one day you say, okay, we need thinking move to beta and other things and blah. So it's time to return to Basil. So we are more stables now. We are creating PRs. We have all the architecture for an open source. And in that moment, I think, say, maybe we need to use NX. I'm testing NX in my live stream. I have a streaming all days and say, hey, we test NX. I think I can just move all of this in 1 or 2 days to NX because we're really good with the architecture we have, work perfect with JavaScript, TypeScript, Node, Angular. And the other thing is, hey, the Narwhal people are friends. So we can just ping to any and say, hey, we have this problem. And okay, Aaron and Sander was agree with that. I think Aaron called Chef to say, hey, do you think NX was perfect for the thing?
Oh, yeah.
And when Aaron,
what's he gonna say? He was like, no, I don't think you.
Imagine that is impossible. So Aaron called me and said, hey, I'm talking with Chef about the next. It's perfect. Yeah, I'm done. I have all the next now. When Aaron and Sander say, hey, maybe it's a really good idea, I was moving all. So we have only one thing left. Was I created a schematic for build because we have a lot of commands for build, change the version for the package, and publish to npm locally. So I'm just working with one schematic, and Brandon helped me really. And now we have an NX schematic for build all or with what we need, take this, change the versions, and publish automatically to npm. So for me, we are in the perfect side for say, hey, NX is a really win for Scully, and I'm really happy to make this thing, because we have a lot of problem with Bazel or with this on monorepo in scripting things. So for us, NX was a big win, and we are really happy with that. We need the first days was funny because Sander asked me a lot of times, "Hey Jorge, what is the next something for build that?" Hey Jorge, what is the next something? Because we have a lot of apps, libraries, and more. But after we create little scripts, that it's not script, yeah, our script in the package JSON, but we have all automatic. It's all automatic. It's like magic, and with the NX cache and all was really fast.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Like I said, we did talk to you all about getting it working, but when I talked to you, you were like 90% there already. So I just had to help.
Yes.
Me and Yuri had to. I remember having to just help you try to get over the finish line there, so you could swap over.
I moved to NX. Yeah, from nothing really. For scripting in the package JSON to NX in like 4-5 hours. And I take like 4 hours more changing all the script we have to NX. But now imagine, so in example, my computer it's fast because I have a 24 cores, something like that. I have a lot of RAM and things like that. So my desktop computer is fast for build and all the things. But with the NX, it's more fast. But for other computers like the Macs and all the things, if you don't have this cheese maker, take more time. The i9 for Mac, it's take more time than Threadripper or Ryzen or something like that. So the cache from NX save me a lot of time, and from Aaron save a lot of time for the demos and for all the things. You can use the cache for build and all. Was perfect. The next step is NX Cloud. I hope this week for finish.
Free for open source project. Gonna throw that out there real quick.
Yep.
I have all. I think Victor sent me an email with all the tips and all. I don't read. Don't tell to Victor. But yeah. The unique thing we don't have in NX, it's the build in GitHub Actions. So it's the next step for finish all. So now we take like 10 seconds to 20 seconds to build all with NX, and the GitHub Actions take 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
So if we change that, we are ready to. I have my narwhal T-shirt.
Okay.
I need one to win NX. But the next one is NX because we are NX lovers now.
That's great to hear. But yeah, I think that's at least all the time we have for today. I'll go ahead and put the Scully site back up here. For those who haven't tried it already, go to scully.io to check that out. It works with an NX workspace, as he already mentioned, pretty effortlessly, which is nice. And they also are building Scully projects and apps with NX. So definitely check those out. What else do we have to plug here? I'll plug NX Cloud. As he mentioned, they're going to looking at moving to that in the near future, where you get computation caching in the cloud, so you can spread it across teams. Definitely check that out. Check out our community page where we have GitHub, Slack, office hours like we did today. We talked about Scully, and maybe we'll look forward to some more integration there within an NX workspace. So we'll check that out. Check out NX Dev Tools on Twitter. I put the handle down there. Community plugins. I'm pretty sure I'm going to wait and see how long it's going to be before someone creates like a plugin for Scully, the Scully app, Scully project itself. So we'll be on the lookout for that. But thanks, Jorge, for coming on. Thanks, Isaac, for hanging out and chatting about Scully. And
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yep, and you're welcome to come back, and we can talk about more about Scully and integration with NX. So until then,
Yeah. The next tip, maybe we can create a Twitch, and stream it sometime, and create the NX plugin for Scully.
hey, let's do it. I like it.
Yeah. For just run NX Scully or something like that, and boom.
Yep, I like it. So we'll catch y'all next time on NX Office Hours.
Awesome.
See ya.